Hi, hello, friends. Welcome back to Night Court Narrative. I am Elvish. I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Today we have a very, very lovely book. I would love to discuss this with you. We are discussing Fairest in the Forest by Laura Grant. Now, if you guys are unaware, Laura is such a wonderful author. She and I have a really good friendship as well, and I don't know. I really appreciate her, and I appreciate everything that she has done in supporting me over the past few months. And obviously, I do my best to support her as well. And with that also being said, I did receive this book for free, but as I said in her last video, or the last video about her, that does not save her from brutal honesty. So I hope. I was told the other day that I'm scary. I don't mean to be. So wait, let me so she she knows my thoughts on this book already, so please don't be scared. I'm sorry, girl. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is Fairest in the Forest by Laura Grant. First and foremost, 5 stars. Absolutely adored this book so much. I did actually start reading this book about 6 months ago, and I don't know why, but I stopped reading after chapter 1. I feel like I just wasn't really in the mood for this book at that time, and it wasn't really the book's fault, but a few months ago I went through this massive reading slump, and I could not find a book to pique my interest whatsoever. I think I went through maybe 20 to 30 books before I found one that was like, okay, like this is good. And I knew then that I felt that there was potential in the book, and I didn't want to read it when I wasn't ready because I didn't feel like I would be able to put my all into it. So I ended up putting it off until now, and I don't know why. It's been sitting on my bookshelf for, like I said, a few months now, and it has been burning a hole in my mind. Does that make sense? So I finally decided to pick this book up, and holy shit, this book was phenomenal. And I literally mean phenomenal. I gave this book a 5-star rating. I honestly could have given it higher. To be so legit with you, I really do think it's like a 7-star. And I'm not saying that because we're friends. Like, I wholeheartedly, like, it has become one of my favorite books. I think I've only had 2 books this year that I have read so far out of 25 that have become easily one of my favorite all-time reads. And this is definitely one of them. So I want to start off by saying I absolutely loved this book. I will tell you, as I said in the Goodreads review, the quote-unquote negative reviews, they're not really that negative. I will tell you all of the negative stuff as well. But for the starter, I loved it, so yeah. This book is really good too. If you guys know, I'm a massive Stray Kids fan. With how the fandom is lately, I don't necessarily want to call myself a stay, because until we have a refresh of the fandom, I'm just gonna say I'm a Stray Kids fan. But this book has so many Stray Kids references. It was very fun. It became sort of a mini game on how many I could recognize, and I really, really enjoyed it. Our 2 main characters, well, we have a few main characters, but our 2 main characters, I believe his name is Felix, but I called him Felix the entire time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I called him Felix. And then we have the prince, which is Hyunjin. Absolutely, Hyunjin is one hell of a man. Oh my god. One hell of a man. And I believe her name was Mare. Was her name Mare? Oh my god, it's starting again, y'all. Hold on. Mare. What is your name? When Mare. Yes. I'm so bad with names. It's so bad. So, like, derail, because you guys know that I derail forever. I can literally watch like 4 seasons of a TV show. Mind you, every season or like every episode is like an hour long, and even by season 4, I have no clue what the main character's name is. So it kind of like, I am the absolute worst with names, so I apologize. um, but yeah, we have Felix and Mare. You know, they're out. They are cleaning up this coffin of this like old prince or whatever. Um, Billy Badass, as I like to call him. And unfortunately, they end up breaking the coffin, and their blood gets into said coffin, and they end up waking up this Fey prince. And oh, he is a gorgeous beast. And yes, but yeah, no. They end up getting sucked into, not sucked in, but you know, they end up getting sucked into the Feywild, and they have to go on. The prince and Mare end up having to go on through this whole adventure to try and see if they could save Felix and whatever, and they end up, you know, shaboinking. Oh, you know, it was phenomenal. I loved it. Laura's writing style is always going to be one of my favorites. She has such a unique writing style to the point where it's so easy to digest. And I know I say that a little bit, but her writing easily allows you to pick up a book and finish it within like 5 to maybe 7 hours, no matter how long it is. It's something that coats the brain very nicely, and she does such a good job with her descriptions as well, and like the descriptive writing, that it makes it very, very easy to, I mean, I don't have another word. Digest. I'm sorry, I don't have another word. But she does a really, really good job with that. And then one of the things that I really love the most about Lore is her ability to write a plethora of characters with it never getting dull or becoming muddy with, you know, personalities, mannerisms, anything of that nature. And I really do appreciate that, because we have easily maybe, God, like upwards of 9 to 10 characters, and they are each so unique with one another. They are so distinct as far as their looks, like I said, their mannerisms, their personalities. Everything is so completely unique between one another, so they aren't really interchangeable with one another. And if you guys know me at all, that is something that how do I say, I critique that very, very hard, because I don't like it when authors go out of their way to make 3, 4 plus characters and their characters are the absolute fucking same, because at that point you're just wasting my time. But Laura does a very, very good job, and I really did enjoy getting to know each of these characters. I did say in my Goodreads review, she wrote the characters in a way where it felt like you were already just picking up where you left off with these characters rather than getting to know whole new beings. It felt like we already knew them and we were already acquainted, and I kind of like that. It felt like they were already familiar with us, and I do think that that made the writing and the reading experience a lot more unique and very special, in my personal opinion. Also, the spice in this book was Fantismo. I absolutely loved the spice. Recently, I feel like spice in books have become so muddied and bland. It just really doesn't give much. Especially spice recently. It's becoming a massive, you know, copy and paste cesspool where every book is the exact same. Every author uses the same words, the same metaphors even. And I don't know, it's to the point where 90% of the books that I read now with spice, I will read maybe 1 or 2 chapters, and then after that I will skip the entire spice scenes because they add absolutely nothing to the story, and it just becomes a way to see how many vulgar words. Holy shit, I'm a little kind of sick right now, so like, you know, it becomes a point on how many vulgar words you can fit in a sentence, while trying to quote unquote act sexy, and it misses every single time. It's not something that is looked forward to, I guess, and I don't know, I'm not enjoying spice as of late, but I do think Laura did such a wonderful job with that. She didn't she didn't overdo the spice where it wasn't necessary. I do feel like the spice was very well placed and very well described. It allowed you as a reader to stay in the mood rather than just speaking to speak, you know? I don't remember what Felix said. Felix did say something and it was a little cringe and I'm like, ew. But mind you, I'm a Felix hater. I did not like him in the book. I just knew that he was like, I don't know, I felt like he was a snake the entire time. So maybe that was like my personal problem, but I don't know. I don't know. But no, I really do think that the spice was so very well done. I think that there's not a way that I would have done it better, in my opinion, or I would have changed it. I do think all of it was very, very well. There were a few scenes where I was actually clutching pearls, and it takes a lot to make me clutch pearls, and I was like moving my hair behind my ear and like blushing like a little child, and I liked it. I really liked it. Yeah, this is the worst time to get a grocery delivery, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to be right back. So you're gonna see a skip. It is not edited. I am going to get groceries. I'll be right back. It is at my front door. 2 seconds. Okay, I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna be a little bit out of breath, but there are so many stairs. Oh my god. I am not fit for these stairs. But no, I really love Laura's world building. I do think that she did such a great job with that as well. I loved the little goblin market. That one was so fun. I loved the, what is it, like a pleasure house? I keep calling it a pleasure house. I don't know. I don't remember what it's actually called. I think that is what it's called, but I really loved that scene. I liked how, you know, spicy that was. I just really, I need this bottle of water. My face. Was doing such a good job, and then the groceries just threw me off. But for the negative stuff, and again, quote unquote negative, they're not that negative. But for the negative stuff, as I mentioned in my Goodreads review, I do think that Lore had the tendency of saying words over and over again. She kind of made a little bit of the words repetitive throughout the book, and I personally did not find that an issue. I think I only have one example, but the blanket pulled around their feet. I think he had a jacket that pulled on the ground. Maybe like other clothing pulled. And to me, that's not annoying whatsoever. I actually didn't mind it. It made it a little bit easier to envision what she was saying, so I wasn't really upset by that. I know other people, like other readers, might find that a little annoying. I personally did not, so it's not that big of a deal to me personally. And the only other really negative thing, I don't like saying the word negative because it's not negative. I want to say maybe the last 5 chapters of Fairest in the Forest, to me, felt kind of similar to A Court of Thorns and Roses, specifically book 1, obviously, when Feyre is under the mountain with Amarantha, Rhysand, the other Fays, Tamlin. It did kind of give that vibe a little bit, especially being in the little prison area, getting worked on by the healer and so on and so forth. It did kind of give that vibe. I don't want to say that it was described to be the same, but it definitely gave me those vibes. But as I also mentioned already, it didn't ruin the experience or the read for me personally, because I personally am a massive A Court of Thorns and Roses fan, so I don't really think that it ruined anything for me. I just found the similarities between it, and it kind of made it a little bit easier to build the world in my head, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't necessarily say that's negative, but if you, I guess, don't like books that raw, heavy inspiration, you might not like the ending of this book. But again, I don't want to say she ripped it off. I don't want to say she drew inspiration from it. I don't even want to say she meant for it to be that way. It was just my personal opinion, and my opinion might be completely different than yours. So you might read it and you might be like, girl, what the hell are you talking about? That was nowhere near the same. But, and you know, that's valid. But to me, it did feel very much ACOTAR. But I loved it. I really did. Really quickly, I do want to talk about Hyunjin for a second. He is a saint of a man. He was gorgeous. He was that is all. That is all. No. Truthfully, you know, I want to keep talking about this book. I want to sit down, hold each of your hands, and just completely spoil this entire hell. No. You know what? I want to hold your hand and I want to read this book to you. It was that good. But as I always do, if I find a book that I really like, I don't want to give too much information about it because I want you to go out and I want you to read it and I want you to experience it for yourself. And I actually got insider information. Apparently, she is almost done with book 2. And I don't find that fair because I needed book 2 last week. But, you know, it's okay. It's fine. I guess I'll wait. If I must, I guess I'll wait. You know, no bullshit though. I'm going to say this with my chest and I'm going to be wholeheartedly, like, I'm going to be as fully honest as possible with you. With that also being said, for the next, like, 30 seconds, we're going to completely forget that Laura and I are friends. I'm putting our friendship to the side. It means nothing as of the next 30 seconds. I do really think Laura is becoming one of my auto-buy authors. I do think that she is one of my favorite authors as of right now. I do have a few authors that I definitely look forward to, and I think that she does such a good job with everything that she does, and she definitely puts her heart into it to the point where I can definitely see myself anticipating her new books, and definitely I'm one of the readers that wants to go on this journey with her. So I wholeheartedly believe that she does deserve all the recognition in the world. And if you guys have not read this book or Casual Affairs, please go definitely read them. If you are a Stray Kids fan and you want a book about all things Stray Kids, mind you, it is a fantasy, so it's not about Stray Kids, but it's so fun. If you're a Stray Kids fan, you will definitely see the little game in here. It's so fun. I found lyrics. I found obviously their names. I found you know, they were saying step out. It was so cool. Like I wholeheartedly think, and I know I keep repeating that word, but like I need you to know, like, without a doubt, with my entire being and my entire soul, I do think that she is a fantastic author and she definitely deserves all the hype. And I hope that you guys listen to me for once and go pick up this book because I would love to hear your opinions. I already made one of my other friends buy it. She is a Stray Kids fan just like I am, and she is a fantasy reader just like I am. So I know she is definitely so excited to read this. I know she has Casual Affairs on her TBR now, because her bias is Bang-chan. So I know she's gonna enjoy that completely. But if I could do anything, and obviously that anything being get people to read Laura's books, I definitely will do the best that I can because I do think that she deserves it. But yeah, I will stop fangirling for like 2 seconds. Yeah. But yes, definitely please go give this book a try. I want to tell you everything about it, but I want you guys to experience it for yourself because it was fantastic, and I truly this book. It has easily become one of my top 10 favorite books. To be honest, I say top 10, but to be honest, it might be top 5 because I don't really, as I mentioned, I was called scary, and apparently I don't enjoy books very often. I enjoy books. I give books a lot of 5 stars, but it's very rare to call a book one of my favorites. So I do think that he deserves everything with this book, and I cannot wait for book 2. Like, I don't know what I have to do or who I have to smooch in order to read book 2, but it's gonna happen. Mwah. But yes, if you read this book, definitely let me know what you think. If you have already read this book, let me know what you think. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.